announced that the government will expand its fuel subsidy program by April to help nearly 400,000 public utility vehicle or PUV drivers cope with the rising oil prices amid tensions in the Middle East. This follows the successful rollout of the initial payouts benefiting tricycle drivers in Metro Manila. The distribution of 5,000 pesos in cash assistance kicked off at ESAC Covered Court in Santa Mesa, Manila, covering around 145,196 tricycle drivers from the country's metropolis. In a statement, Executive Secretary Ralph Recto said the expanded program would benefit a total of 396,352 PUV drivers in Metro Manila, including Transport Network Vehicle Services or TNVS drivers, motorcycle taxi drivers, bus drivers, and jeepney drivers. He said the initiative implemented under the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD Assistance to Individuals in Crisis Situation program aims to ease the pain at the gas pump and the pinch on the beneficiaries' income. Recto said the nationwide distribution of fuel subsidies would likely be conducted by April once the DSWD, Department of Transportation, and Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB have finalized the list of beneficiaries. Recto said the government would also launch a Libre Sakay program to help commuters, especially students and workers, save money amid the rise commodity prices. Recto added that local government units with free bus services may be asked to extend operating hours. The government continues to closely monitor developments in the Middle East. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. assured the public, expressing readiness to provide support should the conflict escalate. President Marcos allayed public concerns, saying affected Filipinos will receive assistance from the government to ensure that their livelihood and daily commute will not be disrupted. He expressed optimism that the ongoing crisis in the Gulf region would not significantly affect the Philippines. President Marcos earlier directed government agencies to prepare contingency measures and implement energy-saving efforts amid possible oil price shocks linked to tensions in the Middle East. Malacanang said the administration is closely monitoring fuel prices and other potential economic effects of the conflict, acknowledging that the disruptions in the oil-rich region could affect global supply and transport costs. The Philippines imports most of its oil requirements, making the country vulnerable to geopolitical tensions that could drive up global petroleum prices and impact local fuel costs. President Marcos has certified as urgent a proposed measure to amend the Biofuels Act of 2006 to address the impact of rising fuel prices amid global market volatility, particularly due to Middle East crisis. The Philippine government has stepped up its repatriation efforts for overseas Filipino workers or OFWs affected by the Middle East crisis, with 6 scheduled flights arriving. At a media briefing in Mandaluyong City, Overseas Workers Welfare Administration or OWA Chief Patricia Yvonne Palwata said these 6 flights carry 75 government-assisted OFWs. She said the flights are part of an ongoing large-scale evacuation program expected to bring home nearly 2,000 OFWs by the end of the week or early next week. The Department of Migrant Workers or DMW, in coordination with the OWA and the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA, said close to 1,200 repatriation cases have already been funded, covering pre-departure processing, airfare, and post-arrival assistance. She said repatriation operations follow a multi-stage process, with OFWs transported via land border crossings from conflict-affected areas to designated exit points in neighboring countries such as Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Oman. From there, they are flown back to the Philippines via chartered or commercial flights. DMW Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak assured that OFWs crossing borders by land are safe and are assisted by various Philippine government teams deployed on both sides of the border crossings through immigration and security checks and onward to the country. He said that in some Middle Eastern areas, limited commercial flights are also operating, particularly from the United Arab Emirates or UAE, with additional routes gradually opening in Qatar, Jordan, and Lebanon.
Patuloy yung ating land crossings in each country. As we know, there are limited airport operations in Jordan, in Lebanon, in UAE, and somewhat beginning in Qatar. Pero meron rin nakakauwing pinupondohan nating ticket from Qatar, and I'll ask Admin P to elaborate later. But otherwise, land crossings, and again, if we could illustrate a map, if you could illustrate a map, there are identified land crossings per country. Hindi ko na dito po yun pa ito-detalyehin ano yun for security reasons. And there are designated adjacent countries kung saan lalabas yung mga tao natin. And on both sides, naka-position ang DMW OWA personnel, regular and augmentation personnel. So meron na rin mga lumipad doon to position themselves in the land crossings outside or once they cross any of the affected countries para doon sa kabilang adjacent country, and then from there lilipad sila pa uwi sa Pilipinas.
From the time an OFW expresses intent to be repatriated and gets listed, Administrator Kaunan said repatriation typically takes over a week to complete, depending on visa processing, security conditions, and flight availability. As of the latest date, she said at least 657 OFWs are now in the pipeline for return, with many currently housed in temporary accommodations while awaiting flights. Secretary Kakdak also assured that post-repatriation assistance, including psychosocial intervention, skills training, and financial aid, is provided for those OFWs upon arrival, along with transportation back to their home provinces. At a bagong Pilipinas ngayon interview, Philippine Ambassador to Qatar, Mardomel Telo Marcola, said the complex evacuation effort for OFWs and stranded Filipinos requesting assistance to exit Qatar, including through crossing borders towards Saudi Arabia, carries on as the government awaits regular flights to return in the Gulf state. As of writing, the Philippine Embassy in Qatar has facilitated the exit of some 100 Filipinos, with another group of more than 30 on their way via the government's third repatriation flight. The embassy, Melicor, said it also assisted 27 Filipino pilots and crew members who had been stranded due to the conflict in securing proper travel documents to cross Saudi Arabia. Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak has assured full legal assistance and continued support for the three overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, who were arrested for allegedly posting videos of missile attacks and violating the United Arab Emirates UAE security measures. Secretary Kakdak assured the Philippine government has assigned a lawyer for the arrested OFWs and that the DMW is in close coordination with the Philippine Embassy in the UAE through Ambassador Alfonso Ferdinand Ver. Secretary Kakdak said the assigned retained lawyer will have a legal course of action to defend the three OFWs. Secretary Kakdak confirmed that all three individuals are OFWs. He said aside from legal representation, the DMW is also in touch with their families. The arrest stemmed from alleged violations of UAE security rules, particularly involving the documentation and posting of videos related to attacks amid heightened tensions in the Middle East region. UAE authorities have tightened enforcement of cybercrime and information laws, particularly on filming and posting video materials related to the attacks in the country. Secretary Kakdak reiterated the earlier advisory by the Philippine Embassy in the UAE, calling on Filipinos to strictly follow the host country laws. Recent reports indicate that multiple individuals of different nationalities, including Filipinos, have been arrested in the UAE for posting or sharing videos of missile and drone attacks as authorities move to curb misinformation and prevent public panic during the ongoing regional conflict. The Philippine Embassy in Abu Dhabi said, upon receiving information of the arrest, it immediately verified the reports, including the circumstances, identities, and current whereabouts of the concerned individuals. It added that a request has also been submitted to the relevant UAE authorities for a consular visit to the arrested nationals. Secretary Kakdak assured the Philippine government will continue to assist the arrested OFWs.
Dateline Malacanang.
In other Malacanang news, Malacanang said there is no need for Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to declare a state of national emergency to allow the government to take over operations in the oil industry. In a press briefing in Mandaue City, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro assured the public that the situation remains manageable, stressing that the government continues to exercise control over developments affecting the oil sector. Castro made the assurance amid calls for strong intervention to address rising civil prices. Castro noted that the Department of Energy, or DOE, is maintaining close coordination with oil companies to monitor supply and pricing movements. She said the engagement with oil firms helps ensure stability in the market despite external pressures affecting global oil prices. Castro issued a statement following calls from Trade Union Congress of the Philippines, or TUCP, representative and House Deputy Speaker Raymond Democrito Mendoza for President Marcos to consider declaring a state of national emergency to allow temporary government takeover of oil companies' operations. Mendoza cited that under Section 14E of RA 8479, the DOE may temporarily take over or direct the operations of entities in the oil industry during emergencies. Castro, however, stressed that current conditions do not warrant such measures given existing mechanisms in place to manage the situation. She also appealed to the public to remain calm and avoid spreading fear.